Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayantiriye Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, Ideal Family Life. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, as we saw yesterday, he asked a question about what about the Grihasthas? Because Narad Muni had spoken about brahmacharis, vanprasthas, sannyasis, and now he's giving the instructions for Grihasthas, how they can make progress. Text 8 onwards. Yavad bhriyet jataram tavat swatvam hi dehinam adikam yo abhimanyet sasteno dandam arhati. One may claim proprietorship to as much wealth as required to maintain body and soul together. But one who desires proprietorship over more than that must be considered a thief, and he deserves to be punished by the laws of nature. And this is for the Grihasthas. Very, very strict instructions. By God's favor, we sometimes get large quantities of food grain, so suddenly receive some contribution or unexpected profit in business. In this way, we may get more money than needed. So how should that be spent? There is no need to accumulate money in the bank merely to increase one's bank balance. Such a mentality is described in Bhagavad Gita as asuric or demoniac. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today and I'll gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now and it will increase in the future more and more. The asura is concerned with how much wealth he has in the bank today and how it will increase tomorrow. But unrestricted accumulation of wealth is not permitted either by the Shastra or in the modern age by the government. Actually, if one has more than one requires for his necessities, the extra money should be spent for Krishna. But then the question is, if it is a devotee household and devotees are serving Krishna, and so keeping some for the emergency, that's not wrong. So one has to see exactly how he can implement these instructions in his life. According to the Vedic civilization, it should be given to the Krishna consciousness movement, as ordered by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yadashnashi yadjuhoshi tadashiya. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. Grihastha should spend extra money only for the Krishna consciousness movement. So this is for those who don't have deities at home and who don't chant, who don't offer, who don't make food offerings or other way. Those who are not at all serving Krishna. But those who already are serving Krishna and trying to raise a Krishna consciousness family, they have to see how well to implement these instructions. The Grihasthas should give contributions for constructing temples of the Supreme Lord and for preaching of Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Krishna consciousness all over the world. Shanvan Bhagavato Bhikshanam. So in the Shastras, in the Puranas and other Vedic literatures, there are so many narrations describing the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And everyone should hear them again and again. For example, even if we read the entire Bhagavad Gita every day, all 18 chapters, in each reading, we shall find a new explanation. That is the nature of the transcendental literature. The Krishna consciousness movement therefore affords one an opportunity to spend his extra earnings for the benefit of all human society by expanding Krishna consciousness. In India, especially, we see hundreds and thousands of temples that were constructed by the wealthy men of society who did not want to be called thieves and be punished. So this definitely is a trend in India. And even over here, we see so many churches and beautiful, beautiful structures. Means people like to donate for the right cause. Of course, the only problem is those churches are vacant right now, and so much money goes in their maintenance of the building, of the structure. But definitely, here the trend is to donate for the good causes like churches or for other social causes. People like to donate here. This verse is very important. As stated here, one who accumulates more money than needed is a thief, and by the laws of nature, he will be punished. One who acquires more money than necessary becomes desirous of enjoying material comforts more and more. Materialists are inventing so many artificial necessities, and those who have money, being allured by such artificial necessities, try to accumulate money to possess more and more. This is the idea of modern economic development. Everyone is engaged in earning money, and the money is kept in the bank, which then offers money to the public. In this cycle of activities, everyone is engaged in getting more and more money, and therefore the ideal goal of human life is being lost. Concisely, it may be said that everyone is a thief and is liable to be punished. Punishment by the laws of nature takes place in the cycle of birth and death. No one dies fully satisfied by the fulfillment of material desires. So that is not possible. Therefore, at the time of one's death, one is very sorry, being unable to fulfill his desires. By the laws of nature, one is then offered another body to fulfill these unsatisfied desires. And upon taking birth again, accepting another material body, one voluntarily accepts the threefold miseries of life. That's Prabhupada's way of saying one voluntarily accepts. Even if he doesn't, he is forced with these threefold miseries. These are forced upon him because it's a part of the package. So where the desires come from, unfulfilled desires, if we have, for the materialist, because so much to enjoy, so much to do, so much to see, so the desires are there. But for devotees, they have a simple life. What is there to do? Chant. I want to chant more. I want to read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to go to Jagannath Puri or Ayodhya or Dwarka Dham. That's all their desires are. And if with these desires somebody leaves the body, then by Krishna's mercy, he can be born in a dham. So that's the best thing to do. That is why we have to involve ourselves so much in spiritual activities that we have no material desire left. Spiritual desires are okay, but no material desires left. So that's a whole idea of Krishna consciousness movement. Mrigoshtra khar marka marka khusri srip khag gamakshikaha atmana putravat pashyetar esham antaram kiyat. One should treat animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snakes, birds, and flies exactly like one's own son. How little difference there actually is between children and these innocent animals. It's snakes also. And here, Narad Muni is calling him innocent. One who is in Krishna consciousness understands that there is no difference between the animals and the innocent children in one's home. Even in ordinary life, it is our practical experience that a household dog or cat is regarded on the same level as one's children, without any envy. Like children, the unintelligent animals are also sons of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore a Krishna conscious person, even though a householder, should not discriminate between children and poor animals. Unfortunately, modern society has devised many means of killing animals in different forms of life. For example, in the agricultural fields, there may be many mice, flies, and other creatures that disturb production, and sometimes they're killed by pesticides. In this verse, however, such killing is forbidden. Every living entity should be nourished by the food given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Human society should not consider itself the only enjoyer of all the properties of God. Rather, men should understand that all the other animals also have a claim to God's property. In this verse, even the snake is mentioned, indicating that a householder should not be envious even of a snake. If everyone is fully satisfied by eating food that is a gift from the Lord, why should there be envy between one living being and another? In modern days, people are very much inclined towards communistic ideas of society, but we do not think that there can be any better communistic idea than that which is explained in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even in the communist countries, the poor animals are killed without consideration, although they also should have the right to take their allotted food with which to live. Actually, for mice, especially for mice, Prabhupada's father, who had a business of cloth, he had a cloth shop. So he had the problem of mice coming and biting off the clothes. So he came up with this idea. He would have a bowl of rice, left it on the side. So the mice would come and they would eat the rice and they go away. They would not cut off the clothes. Because they were hungry and they were not finding anything to eat, so they would come inside the shop and do all their business. So once they get the food, and of course they wanted to eat the rice, not the clothes, so they did not do any damage. So point is, if we feed these animals, then they will not do the damage. Otherwise they would. Because everybody gets hungry. And when they are hungry, they just don't know what to do. Even here, it is mentioned about the snake, and Prabhupada did say, yes, even a snake is mentioned. That householder should not be envious even of a snake. And that's why in India, some places, they do keep a milk bowl for the snake. So the snake would come and they drink the milk and go away. Not everywhere, obviously, we all are scared of the snakes, but some people do. So, and Prabhupada said, this is a real communistic society, communist society. This is how actually communist people, they took over so many countries in the world. The idea. So the point was that capitalist society was not providing for everybody. So the idea behind capitalistic society is you earn, you make your living, and then you keep it and you enjoy. But communist idea is, it's just an idea. This is how Marxism and Leninism and so many other isms started. So their idea was everything is owned by the government. So you work, you get paid. That's it. And the government takes care of everybody, at least all the human beings in the country. But first of all, it didn't work. First, because you're not taking care of the animals and birds and plants, because they're also the population of the country. And secondly, the intrinsic nature of greed that's in the human heart, that is always there, whether capitalist or communist. So as a communist, the greed is there, even in the government officials. They have not come from Vaikuntha. They are from here only. So when the greed is there, everybody tries to exploit the others. Capitalism, at least the point is, yes, the greed is there, but you work hard and make money to satisfy your greed. A communist country, greed is there, so you exploit others, you push others down, and then satisfy your desires. That's even both the systems. It doesn't work. Right system is everything belongs to God. Everybody belongs to God, and our duty is to serve everybody, take care of everybody. So those who, by the mercy of the Lord and by their own pious activities, they have some better life, better prospects, they should take care of people who don't have. And not just the people, in the animals and the birds, they should take care. Because this is how Krishna will be pleased. The ultimate aim is not for us to enjoy here and accumulate more and more. Ultimate aim is to please Krishna. Trivargam nati krichrena bhajet grihimedhya pi yatha desham yatha kalam yavad devopapaditam. Even if one is a householder rather than a brahmachari, sannyasi, or vanprastha, one should not endeavor very hard for religiosity, economic development, or satisfaction of the senses. Even in householder life, one should be satisfied to maintain body and soul together with whatever is available with minimum endeavor according to place and time. By the grace of the Lord, one should not engage oneself in ugra karma. Ugra karma means working so hard that we forget the real goal of life. In human life, there are 4 principles to be fulfilled: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. First, one should be religious, observing various rules and regulations, and then one must earn some money for maintenance of his family and the satisfaction of his senses. So some sense gratification is allowed. The most important ceremony for sense gratification is marriage, because sexual intercourse is one of the principal necessities of the material body. Although sexual intercourse is not a very exalted requisite in life, both animals and men require some sense gratification because of material propensities. One should be satisfied with married life and not expend energy for extra sense gratification or sex life. So that's why in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yukta Ahara Viharasya. Yukta means regulated, not unregulated, unlimited, unrestricted. Yukta Ahara, even eating is, of course, we have to eat, both the regulated eating. Yukta Ahara Vihar. Vihar means recreation. So regulation has to be there, not no recreation and not only recreation. As for economic development, the responsibility for this should be entrusted mainly to the Vaishyas and Grihasthas. Human society should be divided into Varnas and Ashrams: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. Economic development is necessary for Grihasthas. Brahman Grihasthas should be satisfied with the life of Adhyan, Adhyapan, Yajan, and Yajan. Being learned scholars, teaching others to be scholars, learning how to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and also teaching others how to worship Lord Vishnu or even the demigods. A Brahman should do this without remuneration, but he is allowed to accept charity from a person whom he teaches how to be a human being. So accept charity, not demanding a fees. As for the Kshatriyas, they're supposed to be the kings of the land, and the land should be distributed to the Vaishyas for agricultural activities, cow protection, and trade or business. Shudras must work. Sometimes they should engage in occupational duties as cloth manufacturers, weavers, blacksmiths, goldsmiths, brassmiths, and so on. Or else they should engage in hard labor to produce food grains. These are the different occupational duties by which men should earn their livelihood, and in this way, human society should be simple. At the present moment, however, everyone is engaged in technological advancement, which is described in Bhagavad Gita as Ugra Karma, extremely severe endeavor. This Ugra Karma is the cause of agitation within the human mind. Men are engaging in many sinful activities and becoming degraded by opening slaughterhouses, breweries, and cigarette factories, as well as nightclubs and other establishments for sense enjoyment. In this way, they are spoiling their lives. In all of these activities, of course, householders are involved, and therefore it is advised here with the use of the word api, that even though one is a householder, one should not engage himself in severe hardships. One's means of livelihood should be extremely simple. As for those who are not grihasthas, the brahmacharis, vanprasthas, sannyasis, they don't have to do anything but strive for advancement in spiritual life. This means that 3/4 of the entire population should stop sense gratification and simply be engaged in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. Only 1/4 of the population should be grihastha, and that should be according to the laws of restricted sense gratification. The grihasthas, vanprasthas, brahmacharis, and sannyasis should endeavor together with a total energy to become Krishna conscious. This type of civilization is called Deva Varnashram. One of the objectives of the Krishna consciousness movement is to establish this Deva Varnashram, but not to encourage so-called Varnashram without scientifically organized endeavor by human society. So Prabhupada did say that when he was leaving his body, that 50% of my work is still undone. I want to establish this Deva Varnashram system. So maybe he'll come back and establish, because otherwise it doesn't look like we can establish. But this is why this Varnashram system, because it is important for spiritual growth. Very, very important. And without that, one just doesn't fit in. And cannot make progress. Brahman's life should be satisfied with adhyan and adhyapan, learning and teaching and doing yajna and teaching others how to do yajna. Why? Because first of all, they are satisfied with whatever little they have, and they're taken care of by the society. The society should give them enough charity to live off of. And if everybody follows this Varnashram system, then there'll be so much of peace and happiness in the society. Because everybody is doing their duties and being looked after also at the same time. No enviousness, no competition, unnecessary competition between different classes. Nothing. But that's why ideal society, the chapter is ideal family life. This is ideal, very ideal society. And this is how the scriptures of Krishna had established it. But with the advent or ongoing progress of Kali Yuga, everything has gone down. But in other ages, it was there. This was very much established. But anyway, even if it is not established, all we have to do is become good devotees and try to come back to Godhead in this lifetime only. Okay, so I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the example of snake, how does that become, I mean, since as an animal so innocent, because we say, right, snake and scorpion bite when they see the humans or something. So
Yeah, they can be killed.
especially the poisonous ones, the four kind of it can be. So here we are calling it, how? That is the question.
I know, even I was surprised to read this, but even Prabhupada said, even snake is mentioned here.
Yeah.
And it is mentioned by Narad Muni, so it is true. In the sense, innocent in the sense that they also need to live. They need the food. This is the prime necessity of everybody: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So they also need food.
Yeah, that's true. So
I
we
know
say,
it was contradictory, but
yeah,
this is how Prabhupada
in a
explained.
more humble way, we can say.
Yeah.
Okay. Prabhu.
Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.